Hey guys, it's Zizi from Allnaijabeats and you're welcome to a new video. In this very short video, I'm going to tell you how to compress and just give you a very basic guide to compression so you understand it. Okay, let's jump right into it. I have a beat here, which is really like a beat I just put together some time ago, like 3 years ago. And then I completely forgot about the beat, but I just revisited it now because I felt it's really a simple beat and would help me illustrate how to compress. So I'll do two things quickly in this video. One is I'm going to compress vocals, and then secondly I'm going to compress the master bus. Firstly, when you compress a track, what you're trying to achieve is you're trying to achieve even levels. So you want the particular instrument, be it the vocal or whatever instrument you're playing, to sound even all through. And you don't want some places to be high volume and some places to be low volume. And so the aim of compression is not to increase volume. A lot of people just throw on a compressor. Once the vocal or whatever it is sounds louder, they think it's better. That's not compression. Compression is about getting a steady sound and getting a sound that really works with the overall track that you're working on. So this is what the song sounds like. The vocal is very raw. You can see the master channel has nothing. The vocal channel, I've only just put auto tune. I have a delay and a reverb from Fruity Loops, but yeah, I didn't use them. They are switched off. I'll turn them on later. So this is it.
Tell her to pause it, back it up, baby rewind that, so rewind that, pause it, back it up.
So you see, it's just a raw recording, but you can see that the recording is very clean, and the vocal really sounds good. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna compress the vocal. Firstly, I'll bring in a compressor. So of course you want to balance the level of the vocal to make sure it goes with the beat. So we'll quickly balance it.
Tell her to pause it, back it up, baby rewind that, so rewind that, pause it, back it up, baby just want that. Tell her to pause it, back it up. Now the other day I tried to find your location. Baby, what is your location? I did see your vibration on the dance floor, just back it up. On the dance floor, just back it up.
Okay, so this is a freestyle. He wasn't really saying anything, yeah, but you know how we do it in Afropop. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring on a compressor. You can use any compressor for this. I tend to change compressors depending on what I feel like and what the vocal is saying, but let's just go with the Oxford Dynamics compressor. So let me explain the principle of compression. What the threshold does is it tells you at what point you want the compressor to start working to compress the vocal. So if you set a threshold that is very high, the compressor won't really work. You can look at this graph as well, and it just tells you that the compressor, the threshold is so high that it doesn't need to compress it. But as you move it, make the threshold lower, it picks up the compression really more than it would if it was higher. And then the other thing is the attack. So the attack is, when it starts compressing, how quickly do you want it to clamp down on the particular track that you are compressing? So how quickly do you want it to attack it? That's the attack time. So it could be long, it could be short. We go to release. Release is when it starts compressing, how quickly you want it to let the sound go. So do you want it to just go like compress and release, or you want it to go compress then release? Okay. The makeup gain is where you increase the volume. Because as you start to compress, you might drop the volume and you want to increase it back. The aim of increasing it is, like I said, is not to make the track louder, but it's just to get the volume that you lost back. What is the ratio? The ratio is how hard you want the compression to be. You can look at this curve here and see as we increase the ratio, it's really hard compression. but as you increase, you reduce the ratio, it becomes softer. So this determines how soft or hard you want the compression to be. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm giving it a very low threshold. So I'm over compressing it. Okay, usually for vocal I go for around a ratio of between 3 and 4. And then for the attack, what I'm doing is I'm adjusting the attack and release to make sure the compression time of the material is in tune with the tempo of the song. So that is a trick that I use. I'm going to repeat myself because this is very important. Okay, when you compress, you first of all increase the threshold. So I'm going to first solo this vocal so that you can get what I'm doing.
Tell her to pause it, back it up, baby, rewind that. Rewind that.
So I'm doing extreme compression. Now I'll start adjusting the attack and release times. Watch this compression meter and see how this dances with the tempo of the song. Once I achieve that, I know my attack and release times are fine. This is a very helpful trick. You can use it for any sound.
Tell her to pause it, back it up, baby, rewind that. Rewind that. Pause it, back it up, baby, just want that. Tell her to pause it, back it up, baby, rewind that. Rewind that. Pause it.
So what you'll notice now is that this comp meter is going exactly with the tempo of the song. And at that point, you now start releasing the threshold back.
Tell her to pause it, back it up, baby, rewind that. Rewind that. Pause it, back it up, baby, just want that.
So I'm going to turn on the delay and the reverb. Now listen to what it sounds like, and I'll keep taking it off and on so you can compare.
Tell her to pause it, back it up, baby, rewind that. Rewind that. Pause it, back it up, baby, just want that. Tell her to pause it, back it up, baby, rewind that. Rewind that. Pause it, back it up, baby, just want that. Rewind that. Me I don't hide. Shock back in my system now. The other day, I tried to find your location. Baby, what is your location? I did see your vibration on the dance floor, just back it up. On the dance floor, just back it up. Baby, give me one corner.
Now off and on. Let's go with the verse and let's listen.
Me I don't hide. Shock back in my system now. The other day, I tried to find your location. Baby, what is your location? I did see your vibration on the dance floor, just back it up. On the dance floor, just back it up. Baby, give me one corner, I go give you two corner. Make you chop my banana. Sweat, you not gonna regret time, oh yeah, baby, just.
Okay, so I was still trying to make sure that the compressor was not increasing the volume, and I think I've gotten it now. Now let's listen without the compression.
Me I don't hide. Shock back in my system now. The other day, I tried.
With the compressor.
Me I don't hide. Shock back in my system now. The other day, I tried to find your location, baby.
So what you notice is that the volumes are the same, but when we don't use a compressor, he starts very loud and then he becomes very low. That's what a compressor does. But once you put on the compressor, you hear that the vocal is a little bit more even. Now, the next thing you want to do, use automation to control the volume. This really helps, okay? So I use two compressors for my vocals. When I do this first compression, the next thing I do now is to create an automation clip for the vocal. So we're going to quickly just adjust the volume of the vocal using automation. This is very, very key if you want your vocal to sound professional. So this is what we're gonna do.
Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system now. The other day, I did try to find your location. Baby, what is your location? I did see your vibration on the dance floor, just back it up. On the dance floor. Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system now. The other day, I did try to find your location. Baby, what is your location? I did see your vibration on the dance. Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system now. The other day. Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system.
So I'm not going to do it for the entire vocal track. I just wanted to show you from the beginning how you can use automation. Ideally, you go through the entire vocal track, and those places where it's low, you boost it a little bit, and the places where it's too loud, you bring it down a little bit. So at the end of the day, when compression works on it, the compression is doing less work and it's more efficient. So you listen.
Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system now. The other day, I did try to find your location.
So this is how to treat vocals. The next thing I do now is to add another compressor. We can use any compressor is going to do this the same thing. This is the Ultra Funk, very old compressor from Sona. So there's a preset that's really good. It's called Vocal Soft. We'll just choose that.
Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system now.
So with this compressor, I'm just doing a little bit of compression. So check the gain reduction window here. It's gonna be just mild compression, and then I boost the gain back.
Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system now. The other day, I did try to find your location. Baby, what is your location? I did see your vibration on the dance floor, just back it up. On the dance floor, just back it up. Baby, give me one corner, I go give you two corner. Make you chop my banana. Sweat, you not gonna regret time. Oh yeah, baby, just back it up.
So now let's turn off the two compressors and listen to how the vocal sounds without compression, and then I'll turn them on, and then you see how compression really helps with getting a good level.
Me, I don't hide. Check back in my.
Let me move forward a little.
Baby, give me one corner, I go give you two corner.
You see, without the compressor, he's just like, he's very soft, and then he's very strong, and it's just annoying.
Baby, give me one corner, I go give you two corner.
Okay, now let's go with the compressors and just listen to how sweet this part of the song is.
Baby, give me one corner, I go give you two corner. Make you chop my banana. Sweat, you not gonna regret time. Oh yeah, baby, just back it up. Anywhere where you go, I go follow. Oh yeah, baby, yeah.
So you see like how good compression is. Now usually when I compress vocals, I don't stop there. I still go ahead to do parallel compression. Okay, and you might say it's too much, but really it's not too much. So just remember again that when you compress, you have to also use a de-esser, because the S's become very prominent. So normally I'll just throw the Waves C6 plugin, but that's not really the focus of this tutorial. But rather than use a proper de-esser, I prefer to use a multi-band compressor as my de-esser. What I do is I'm only compressing the specific bands where the harsh sounds, the S's are.
Baby, give me one corner, I go give you two corner. Make you chop my banana. Sweat, you not gonna regret time. Oh yeah, baby.
So you see, only this band is responding to the compression, and all the S's become very soft.
Baby, give me one corner, I go give you two corner. Make you chop my banana.
Okay, but that's not the focus of this tutorial. So again, I said I do parallel compression. So typically, I'll just call this Vox dry. I'll call this Vox wet. Then I'll call this Vox boss. So what I'll do is I'll send the vocal to this track only, and then to this track, and then this track will be sent to the bus only. This will be sent to the bus only. So now all my vocals are here. So you want to turn down the Vox wet completely to 0.
Baby, give me one call.
So now here I'll bring on a compressor. Of course, I like the FET compressor from Softtube, but I'm going to turn it off on the Vox Dry and then load the same compressor. This is just the problem with FL Studio, you know, you have to do it this way for the sound to be even. So so I'm increasing the threshold to the to the minimum. This compressor, actually the minimum is this way. So I'm also increasing the ratio. I'm increasing the attack to fast and the release to fast. So now we start.
Baby, give me one corner.
So now there's no compression yet, but what I'm going to do is I'll start turning up the Vox wet, and that's when the parallel compression starts coming in.
Baby, give me one corner. I go give you 2 corner. Make you chop my banana. Sweat, you not gonna regret them. Oh yeah, baby, just back it up. Anywhere where you go, I go follow. Oh yeah, baby, yeah.
So without the parallel compression, this is what you hear.
Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system now. The other day.
That's without parallel compression. This is with parallel compression.
Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system now. The other day.
So you find that the vocal is fuller. The air in the throat of the singer comes out more. If you're not using headphones or in a studio, you might not really hear these differences. So I really advise you to listen in the proper environment. So the last thing I want to show you before I end this video is how to compress, the master bus.
Me, I don't hide.
So you need a compressor that can work for the master bus. It's not every compressor that is really good with the master bus. For me, I like to use the Waves SSL because, that's one of the best bus compressors out there. But I use other compressors as well, from Slate and other guys. I start from a preset called Dave Aaron SSL Center Classic Compressor, and I'll turn it off and turn it on, and you hear the difference.
Me, I don't hide.
On.
Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system now.
So this actually, I turn off the analog because the analog in Waves just brings out a lot of noise. So this particular compressor makes everything come alive. So when I'm mastering, I tend to use this compressor to get the entire mix under control, and then I just adjust the threshold a little bit until I get and if you like, you can use the same system, reduce the threshold and then you adjust the attack and release. But I don't bother doing that for mastering, because when I master, I want to have a very long attack and a very short release. So for me, this setting is perfect. High attack, low release, and the ratio usually 2 is fine because this is master bus. Okay, you don't want to over compress. So I'm just gonna adjust the threshold a little bit because I'm aiming for around 2 to 3 decibels of gain reduction. Let's go.
Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system now. The other day, I tried to find your location. Baby, what is your location? I did see your vibration on the dance floor, just back it up. On the dance floor, just back it up. Baby, give me one corner. I go give you 2 corner. Make you chop my banana. Sweat, you not gonna regret them. Oh yeah, baby, just back it up. Anywhere with.
So let's hear without the mix bus compression.
Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system now.
Let's hear with it.
Me, I don't hide. Check back in my system now.
So if you are listening on monitors or good headphones, you realize that all the instruments are popping. The sounds are harder, the vocal is harder, the drums are harder, and the entire mix is just more alive, but also more controlled. You don't have anything that's just jumping out of the mix. So guys, hopefully at the end of this, video, you can practice some more and you can improve in terms of how you use compressors in your mix. It doesn't matter the compressor you use. Usually you listen, certain compressors have certain sounds, but if you get a compressor that works for you, you continue to use it and you make good music. So thank you guys. It's been your boy Don Zizi from Allnaijabeats, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, as usual, reach out to me, like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next time.